Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, I hope you're doing well. This is your political dietitian, Kenya revolutionary. I hope you're doing fine. Karibuni sana, for the second session, round two. If you're here, if you joined us earlier today, we talked about what transpired today earlier. We shall expound on that today and see what kind of options or what are the possible outcome scenarios for Ruto. Can I have people join me and help me understand what can we be possibly be looking at in the event Ruto might leave or he might stay? If he stays, how will his government look like with all this pressure that's going on? Are the Gen Zs ready to suspend the protests? Or are they going to keep on keeping on? Will Ruto resign? Or will he conjure up something akin to the Kofi Annan Code, aka BBI, Government of National Unity, also known as NADCO report? Let's explore that, okay? We are going to see what will possibly happen because historically, we've always had the control opposition, Raila Odinga, who always comes in and rescues the day. Comes in and say, hey, listen, it's okay. I've talked to the people. I've talked to the president or the government. Now we can have some kind of and things will be fixed. Don't worry about it, okay? I got it. I'll fix it. Well, Ruto tried the same trick and tried to reach out to Raila Odinga. And as we know, Raila was told, hey, you need to sit somewhere. Sit aside. Wacha, kakando. You need to sit this one out. This is a Gen Z affair. Now, when people say Gen Z is just not an age group in this protest. Gen Z is a representation of the Kenyan people who are going out there protesting, who are not happy with this government. It's not just an age group. This is not just a young people who are upset, who are not happy with Ruto. These are not just young people who are discontent, not happy with the government. These are Kenyan people. It is millennials, Gen Zs, what else? Baby boomers, and everything in between, okay? Some of them are actively on the streets. Some of them choose to, tweet. Some of them podcast like I do. Some of them just, everybody plays a different part. Some of them are lawyers. Some of them are, healthcare workers. Some of them are, you name it. But again, the face of the movement are the so-called Gen Z. That's why they're called Gen Z, because majority of them are young. Gen Zs and millennials, that is. So let's not make it sound like these are our young folks who are losing their minds, making this country, wreaking havoc. That's not what it is, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and comrades. So let's see. Karibu sana. I see I'm joined with not a bunch of people, but some familiar faces that I have to acknowledge. Okay, we shall start with Gypsy Corner. Karibu sana, karibu Gypsy. Nice seeing you. Gypsy, say hi. There'll be no fixing. Hashtag Ruto must go. Renee Black, karibu sana. Nice seeing you again. Greetings. Nice seeing you, Renee. Messi M says greetings all. Karibu also. Nice seeing you. Let's get it started. I'll start with this video. But before I get to play the first video, I just want to ask you, if you haven't subscribed yet, you know the order of business. If you haven't subscribed to this channel and you're wondering what this channel is about, please just take a time and subscribe to the channel. Hit the subscribe button. It's free. You're not going to be charged. It's free. And put your notification on so every time I come in, you can always join in the conversation, whether in the chat, and I will also put the link in case you want to join me in the studio and verbally express yourself accordingly, okay? And number two, if you haven't liked this channel, like this video particularly, ladies and gentlemen, even if you're subscribed or haven't subscribed, like the video. That's the first order of business. So like, share, comment, and if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. I know you might be at work somewhere, busy, doing something that you cannot be in here, but you want to listen. that's fine. Just take your time, like and comment. You don't have to comment if you are, if your job can't allow you, not, just subscribe to the channel, okay? All right, let's get started. Duncan Sewe, karibu sana, Familia's Face. Ruto must go, big up. Thank you so much, Duncan, karibu. All right, let me start with this video. Some young folks were in, I think it was one of the studio, and they're discussing something similar to this. I will get to the matter. Let me just play this clip first. Then we'll delve in as people join in. Karibu, 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 karibu. Let's get started. Haya basi, twende. Okay, the first video here. I think you know these faces. These are familiar faces, the so-called.
So what happens if we rout out everybody? Then what? Do we go to an election? Do we follow the Constitution? Because as I understand it, you're saying, the Constitution is what you are fighting for, right? And it's full implementation. So all of that has that procedure. So if, the president is not there, the deputy president takes over. If that does not happen, then it's the speaker for 60 days, after which there's an election. Is that where you foresee this going? If you're saying everybody must go? I mean, I think people just want to understand where this goes from here.
According to me, I think the president must accept that this government has failed. And by firing all the CSs, that means you have seen that all sectors are not working. And when we say what next, it is not, you see, what they're trying to do is tell us, you see, if you do this, then it's a black hole. There's nothing that you guys can do. We are going to go into anarchy. And someone said something very profound on X. They said, when they want to tax us, they compare us to Singapore. When we ask for accountability, they compare us to Sudan. And so when we say even the parliament must go, we mean that they have lost legitimacy. They do not represent the will of the people. They do not have our best interests at heart. So when they go there, they decide what they want, what benefits them, and it's not about us. It's no longer about the citizen. It is no longer about the Kenyan person. So the Constitution has provided everything that we need moving forward. It is not that we are going to go into a black hole. Okay. It is not like that.
Do you want?
Okay, that's a very good statement, which I agree with. I think what the young lady is trying to say is that for those people who think that if this government, earlier today, this morning, we were talking about if the Koome, the Chief Justice, advises the president to dissolve the parliament. If the parliament is dissolved, that basically means everybody, kila mtu anarudi nyumbani, everybody. Karibu sana, I want to welcome GOK. Karibu, hello, nice seeing you again. Renee is saying, if there's a will, there's a way. A system could be developed. They act like they have to move like the outsiders. Absolutely. Yes, Yasi, karibu sana, seeing you again. Ruto must go. Yes, Renee says, but the ones who awaken, understand innovation. Yes. So what I'm saying is this. Okay, the president should dissolve the parliament. That's option one. Dissolving the parliament probably means, and it means, not it probably means, it means everyone has to go back home. We are going to have a fresh election. And I think the procedure is, okay, if the MPs have been dissolved, MPs, the parliament has been dissolved, and everyone goes back home, there's a time frame where people prepare for fresh elections. Everyone, including Ruto, all his cabinet, everybody sees to have, power. So there'll be no power vacuum. We shall have a new election where we shall elect new MPs, new MCAs, new governors, new all that. That's what we mean. So again, the good point that the lady makes is like, if they want to tax us, they compare us with Singapore. If they, if you want to hold them accountable, they compare us with Sudan. Yes, they always paint the worst case scenario to try to scare us off from holding them accountable. Okay. And always want to paint a picture that, hey, listen, we want more taxes so we can become the next Singapore. We can become the next, I don't know, UAE, whatever the case, whatever. They always go to the extreme. That's why you had the president yesterday before the Mandamano. He kept on stressing that these young folks that are going to protest are anarchists. And that's not the case. These are not people who are going there to cause anarchy. They're simply peaceably protesting against what hasn't worked. Now, what are the possible scenarios for Ruto? What can he do actually to get these protesters off the streets and carry on with their lives? Okay? Because these guys are they're very, very disappointed and they do not want to hear anything Ruto has to say. So number one, Ruto has to recognize that he has lost legitimacy. No one trusts anything he says. He has nothing to say to tell the people. Okay? He has promised us heaven and given us hell. He hasn't done anything to show that we can trust him. And that is the number one thing that he needs to recognize. With that understanding, that simply means that he needs to work on an exit strategy. Okay? Exit strategy. Because nothing will overturn this. You know, the only thing he can do right now, okay, it's either this: plan an exit strategy that either takes him off the office in a month or 2 or 3, or if he wants to become creative, try to convince the population that he can come up with a wonderful idea that will take the next 2 years to implement, that way to buy him time until 2027, which I'm sure the Gen Zs will not go for. They will not buy it. Let's get to Gio. Gio is telling that it's a scary it's a scare tactic. Absolutely, it is. Messi is telling us they need to scrape off all those useless positions, go back to the 8 provinces. I agree. They were easy to manage. Only 8 provinces. We can do this. Yes. Messi said it will be easy to keep track how the money is distributed to all province counties. Yes. It is actually still easy to track this money. It's just that no one has the balls to actually carry out an audit. And the audit that they usually carry out, they're kind of, half-assed. Let me just say that, they're not really, listen, he came out and told us that he wants to audit our debt. But how can you form a committee that's friendly to your government? You are the person who's being audited. It's like, I'm suspecting of misusing or misappropriating funds. Then I create a committee that are friendly to me to audit me, knowing very well that I am the main target of this audit. I mean, how does that work? It has to be an independent body. It doesn't work that way. There's a link on the chat, ladies and gentlemen, brothers, sisters, friends, and comrades. If you want to get in, please do that, hit that, and come into the studio. Think about it. You can tell me what's the best strategy for Ruto, maybe to try to win us back over so that maybe we can consider voting him in next time in 2027, or if he should come up with an exit strategy, which means something in the short term in preparation for a new incoming government, meaning that he should recognize that he has failed, as this young lady has made it known in that clip. But the problem is this government, including Ruto, cannot recognize that he is actually a failure. Okay? Alison Carol, karibu sana. Nice seeing you again. Hey, hook your people up with the link. The link is in the chat as we speak. If you want to come to the studio, there's the link. It is there, right there. Let me highlight it one more time. If you want to get in, just hit the link, come in, spew your guts out. Tell me, what do you think? What's the best strategy for Ruto? Like I was saying, he has to recognize, Ruto, number one, that whatever strategy plan he wants to come up with, it should involve him leaving office. Now, that's a tough pill to swallow for Ruto because, as we know, he has a huge ego. Because, right, if he doesn't want to do that, what are the alternatives? The alternative is this Gen Z with their protests every Tuesday and Thursday of every month, every week, and maybe they might escalate it and make it an everyday thing. These protests are going to cripple your government. If not now, then in the next 6 months, you're not going to survive this. The economy will tank. The foreign investors will lose trust, confidence in you, Ruto, just like the people already have lost confidence in you. You know, I mentioned this morning the reason why the president had to post a picture of him and some ambassador or somewhere of Ireland signing some documents, a trade agreement or whatever the case is, was to try to show the foreign investors, foreign governments that, hey, I'm still in control. I'm just working on this thing. You can still have trust on me. I'm signing this trade deal with Ireland, so we are still up for business. Please give us some more money. We can still do trade. It's okay. We have a few protests there, but I'm still in charge. That was what they're trying to convey. That picture that right there was directed to the foreign investors, okay? Because when Kenya is making headlines, when people heard about these youth that went and took over the parliament and they were planning on going to the state house, they are thinking, you know what? This president has lost legitimacy, okay? And legitimacy is what you need. 2017, Uhuru Kenyatta did not have any legitimacy, okay? So people went and swore in Raila Odinga. And Raila Odinga is the one who actually saved his presidency in 2017 by he went there and shook hands with him and told him, hey, listen, handshake, we shall work together, right? And that brought all the Raila voters, majority of them, or some of them at least, gave him some sense, some level of legitimacy. Chita Karibu, what's on your mind? What should Ruto do? What are the possible scenario? Go ahead.
Hi. What should Ruto do? What should we go ahead with? First of all, I think.
Sorry, can you move closer to your mic?
Closer to my mic? Oh,
yes.
Okay. Let me try it one more time. Tell me when it gets okay. All right.
That is better. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
All right. I'm sorry about that.
That's fine.
Okay. Cool. So, what do I think he should do? Sit his ass down. First of all.
Okay.
Sitting his ass down means sign the paper. Because if it was me, I would be highly embarrassed. Also, looking at the history of the whole country, there is nobody that has ever complained this quick about a regime. Not this quick. And not this intensely. So if I was him, I would just sign the paper down, say like my people, you know, and because people are here arguing with him, like he should, take everybody with him. This is his chance. Anguka nayo. You fall, take everybody with you. So this is a perfect chance for him. Yeah.
Now, okay, let's assume that he seems like a hard-headed person. He doesn't he's in denial. He doesn't think that he's the problem. He's still trying to convince himself and others that he can continue governing. Now, if he stays, are these Gen Zs going to actually take him out? What do they? Because I know the Gen Zs now, the call is Ruto must go. There's no if buts about it. He has to go. But meanwhile, there are some people who are the same Gen Zs also have some demands that they have, as in looking at in the police, whatever brutality stuff, they should brought in, put people who are CSS that are accountable. So it's kind of a little bit confusing at the same time.
No,
which
not.
is it? Yeah, go ahead.
I take it very clearly, like from the shot of the sniper of a Gen Z's eye. They're looking at it like this, straightforward. We are telling you straight up, okay? Please, even if you want, there is a way that you can resign and people will mock you, like for a few years, And by the way, he will live with a big check. and it will not just, yeah. So his ego will be hurt. They'll talk about it. But at the end of the day, they'll be like, but you know what? He left with some dignity, Yes, people, yes, and he can stop the massacre like now if he wanted to.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, if that man came on national TV right now, doesn't matter what time it is, you know how we bring up the news, especially these days. Them days
Mhm.
we used to blow horns, and even in the villages right now, we still have them. Uh-huh. He has resigned. You know, the choir, when you're hearing Ruto must go, is the same one that you'll be hearing, he has resigned. Eh? And there will be this calm for
Yep.
some reason that will come over the country.
You know,
Believe it or not, I believe that.
you know, to me, I was thinking if I was him, I would do something like this. Since I know everyone wants me out, I
Mhm.
would kind of bring in, let's say, create a position, create a situation where people will go to the elections knowing very well that I will lose, or maybe I won't be eligible to run because I'll be rejected. But
Mhm.
it will be, like you said, I think since he has a big ego, the point is how can he live with some dignity? So if he, through Martha Kaome, be advised to dissolve parliament and everyone goes back home, of course he will not be considered as a candidate.
But excuse me, sir,
Yeah.
what dignity? Dignity, which dignity did he leave the dead bodies? What dignity did he leave his soldiers to do whatever that they are doing right now? What dignity is there that we have abductions right now? Huh? People missing, people that we are still looking for. We still don't know what is in the damn site. He's still banned halfway. There is no volunteer, there is no government, there is nothing. What dignity? You think it's dignity to open up a paper bag and find your child there? Dignity.
No, there's no dignity there. But what I mean is, if he wants
Mm.
to step down in a way that, because we know he has a huge ego, he will never admit that those bodies were probably murdered by the forces that he sent there. So for him, if he wanted to live with some ounce of dignity, he would say, okay, I'm going to dissolve parliament. Everyone, let's go back to fresh elections. I will not be a candidate. That way, even though he has done all these evil things, we shall look
Mm.
back and say, you know what? We wanted him out. He did what we wanted. He gave us that choice where he stepped down and let everybody have a fresh election again, so we can have new parliamentarians, new CNAs, CEC, MCAs, and all that
Right
stuff.
back at you. If he does that, what do you think is about to happen to him, or what should happen to him in your view?
Now, that's a good question. So now the new government that's coming, if he does that, and we have new parliamentarians and all that stuff, okay, a new system and a new president. Now, that new president is the one, along with the new National Assembly, will look into these criminal activities. I'm not saying this should be left the new. That new government that comes in of our choice, because that's what we are calling for. We need new, fresh people who have integrity. So this new government with national unity shall come up, even if it's opening a new investigation, independent body to investigate who did what and who did the buck stop with. Was it Ruto who gave orders for these bodies to be dumped in that quarry? That's what the new government should look at. Because I don't believe Ruto can investigate himself. I don't think so.
Okay, and so on that note, exactly. So while we are doing that, and while we are appointing everybody to make so-called investigations, right? As citizens, should we rise up the temperature, increase or decrease the temperature?
The temperature, as of right now, in my opinion, they should rise the temperature
Uh,
until Ruto uh, decides, tells us these two things. I'm dissolving the parliament and we're going to have the fresh elections, or
mhm.
he is resigning as a president and as a government of the new, like same thing like the French people did, the French government, Macron's government. They just
Yeah.
resigned. Yeah.
But it has also been said that somebody like the leader of Kagame, who won by 99 point wow percent, you even
99%.
hear 99 point wow percent, and then hey, yeah,
Yeah.
hi, hmm. And then there's Museveni over there, and then there were those trips that have been made, and even when he was DP, you know.
Mhm, mhm,
So, what do you think the danger is? Because it almost seems like he's squeezed now from all sides, if I may say so. Because you were talking about Foundation earlier today, right?
mhm, mhm.
They came up with a whole statement, and they were like, mm-mm.
Right.
We did not, yeah, we did not sponsor him. We don't know what he's talking about. And that time he was on in a whole campaign, talking about it. So Ford Kenya came out and they're like, no, 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 no. We did not sponsor anybody. We don't know you. I mean, we know you, but we don't know what you're talking about where this matter is concerned. So literally denied. He has also been having some raffles from the US. Somebody like Meg Whitman, for example, has been dispersed and all of a sudden wants to be friends with people. So it seems like he put himself in a place like where he doesn't have any stand for himself. You know, you better be killed for the right thing rather than getting taken out for something that you don't even know. You better know that you are taken out by whoever because you are saying copper in my country shall not be mined like that, for example. You know,
So
we have a lot of examples for that. So the thing is, like with him, I hold the same sentiment with you. He will not last also, because this kind of tactics, yes. And then when you see people that do not give a care, yeah, and when you see sometimes what they are trying to say, taunting, that's not taunting. I've been observing it. I've been looking at it. You know, that's not taunting. They are starting it first. One more thing about the tear gas, please. I don't know if you heard what was said, that the tear gas today smells different. It chokes different. A lot of reporters that were on the ground were like, uh-uh, this is not like the one that we are used to. No, this one, no, it's toxic. They were using that word. They could feel the poison down their gut. And it's the same one that they used on the children up in Kakamega earlier today. Now, I want to take you back, if you would allow me, just for like 60 seconds.
that's
This
fine.
thing of throwing tear gas on children, look at the history. 9 years ago, Weston, if I'm saying it right, Weston Hotel,
Mhm.
the one that was disputed whether it belongs to Ruto or it doesn't belong to Ruto. Part of that ground, there was a dispute because there was a school next to it, and it was a primary school, and there was a playground. So the playground was the dispute point. And Ruto had already said, "This is my hotel." So why did he send whole units to go uh, and and put on tear gas upon the children in a primary school?
Yep.
These are between six. It was reported then. These are not even my words, but primary school
Mhm,
between 6 and about 13, 14, right? Right.
mhm.
6, 7 until 13, 14. And they are going like you could see the teachers trying to battle with even today, the teachers, and props to those teachers back then and right now, especially for the small ones, because they were all in panic. They don't know where to hide. They only know how to hide behind teacher this and teacher that. and the teacher really psychologically, they also need to be treated. It's not cool, it's not cute. So when I look at it, he did not even come and apologize then. Who came and apologized was the CS of Interior then, Mr. Kaseri, if I'm butchering his name, Joseph Nkaseri.
Mhm.
If and the way he died, we all
Yes.
know,
Mhm.
mysterious heart attack. Thank you. Yeah, just 30 days to the next elections. He's the person that was like, he's the only one that went to that primary school, Langata, and apologized in front of the nation for the tear gas, and he made up for it. So he made enemies. This is in the public domain. It's not like I went somewhere and you just have to look it up, right?
Yeah.
So coming back to today, it's almost like a pattern with this person. Yeah. And I like what Bernard said earlier. He's as we were laughing, but I could feel like his pain. But sometimes he's like, Gachagua is a gangster. I mean, that thing, it came from his lungs, his intestines, his diaphragm. You could feel the pain. And then then let me tell you something. Okay, people are being paid for sitting allowance. How many professions have sitting allowance? Okay, I do not refuse. Okay, I do not refuse. You pay them for sitting their booties down. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. But while you're at it, okay, can
Mhm.
you also pay for standing allowance? That includes nurses, police, okay? Anybody that has a job that includes standing mjengo,
Mhm.
everybody. While you're at it, now we are coming to a more expensive, crowd of it, because this thing you have to tax it accordingly. So if a member of parliament is given an allowance of 50,000 a month sitting allowance, so
Mhm.
I think the standing one should be paid double, I would suggest, right? The
Yeah.
police, the nurse, the teacher, you know, the mama mboga, mtu wa nduthi wewe, kungodhea watu, it's no easy.
Right.
And then comes now the premium crowd. That is you and me and everybody, and that is everybody in that crowd that I mentioned. We should also be given, and this now should be tripled, thinking allowance. You see the way we think.
Yes. I would love that. I would love that allowance, but
Yeah.
but but
Mhm.
I would argue on the opposite end of it. I would say we should get rid of those allowance for those members of parliament and
Of course.
senators or
I was
whatever the
just
case.
being sarcastic, just
Okay.
giving, Sarah, like, if we are being given allowance, then let everybody
Let
be
everyone
given
get
allowance.
yes, yes,
Eh,
yeah. But I did see the news about the orange gas that they were using, the new the tear gas orange, which
mhm.
a lot of people are saying it's poisonous. It's used for agriculture or something like that. But yes, and regarding Gachagua, like I said earlier, mentioned his son was abducted or is detained or whatever the case
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
Now
yeah. I heard that.
that will open a new. Sometimes I was thinking,
Pandora's box.
yes, and I was thinking, could it be that maybe they are, if Gachagua is on board with this, is
He
it a
could be, maybe the son is somewhere in London, high
yes,
life. We
yes,
are over here buying a story that's not true.
right?
Mhm.
And that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. Maybe they are creating
Because show
that,
us some CCTVs, because if it's your son, really, we know
right?
he's surrounded by at least somewhere somebody saw him coming from a particular place. We know your houses, we know your villas, and you people have cameras. So how come there's no trace at all?
Yes, yes. And so, could it be that Gachagua is, trying to disassociate himself with this government by maybe planning that son being detained so that he can come out and say, hii serikali, I'm working for it, but see, they are detaining my son. What kind of ninio? Then, just to give it a
Listen to me.
yeah.
Listen to me.
Mhm.
If my son was kidnapped, Eh?
Yes, and you're the
Kwanza
deputy
na
president.
kuonyesha vumbi, I resign right there,
Why
right
would you?
there.
Why would you resign?
Because you know why?
Why?
As a deputy president,
Mm-hmm.
that would take a lot of, if it's genuine,
Right.
that would send you into disarray.
But
I'm like, I don't need this seat.
you
I
can
don't
use.
need to. You cannot fire me,
Wait,
and I can.
cheater.
I can resign. I
You
can
can
resign, but you can't fire
with
me.
with the influence that you have as a deputy president. What
Yes,
if it was a genuine Nini abduction? You can
yes.
use your influence using whether it's the police to say to
No,
find out where your son is,
no.
why is he detained, and all that stuff.
I because I already have the influence, even without the what do you call that? The limelight, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I can do it underwater. I don't have to be bringing it up like on the screens. That's what I mean. So I'll resign and I'll go underground and look for my son. No money is worth it if he really means it.
To me, I think it would because once you resign, you lose that authority that you have as a deputy president.
Well,
If
what
you're
authority? Look, this is
uh
when you tell yourself you sell your morals or your ethics. Is it all about the power? Is it all about the name? You know, and that would mean a lot to a lot of people, because even the people themselves would see like, look, I've been trying to tell you the thing with Gachagua is like kuruka, getting from one corner to another, and sometimes he falls like into a situation where he feels lukewarm, like you're
Mhm.
not this way or the other. So when drama like this comes up, or when a situation like this comes up, people think it's some drama. People think it's just Nikki Pindi, you know, of which it could be like really, really serious, you
So
know.
do you do
Don't,
you do you honestly think
mm,
they have beef between Gachagua and the Ruto? They really have that
of
beef,
course not. Of course not. These are bros, man.
so they are
I
playing
man,
us.
if anybody even listens, even when they were really beefing, you hear them all of a sudden they are at a certain funeral, people are and then they are given the microphone. Hey, I would like to greet my brother, my friend, my girl. Oh, so who's the fool here? Who's the fool here? If it's not we,
The
yeah,
public.
yeah, man. Mm,
So so moving forward, how do you see this thing playing out? Gen Z, I know there's a lot of people now starting saying, there's a lot of people dying. We should now Gen Z should rethink how to
yeah,
engage Rutos.
mm,
Some people are saying, no, we are getting him where we want. Let's keep on the pressure. Which
right. What?
which way? Because
Okay,
apparently today a lot of people died more than any other Mandamano before this. So
right.
how?
So
Mhm.
So I would say like this: don't put your foot off of the pedal, off of the gas pedal. You know,
Right.
don't brake. You can slow down, re-strategize, come back. All right. See
Hmm.
where mistakes have been, where maybe when you go out peacefully, you've been associated with other people that don't belong to the crowd. What can be done? What can be done simply for me? How can it work simply? They should keep pressing. And I have seen, when I say keep pressing, I have seen a lot of decency compared to when people were breaking shops, and there was minimum of that. Like the last,
Yes.
I think, 1 week, there has
Yes.
been a minimum of that. So they cannot come back and say, oh, you're still breaking shops. No, you know.
But
I really think
go ahead.
equipment should be brought down for people at Kware. That is still on my mind. Equipment should be brought down,
Mhm.
whether by volunteers, whoever has something. I don't have anything. Bring those guys who are volunteering some masks, some protective gear, some cranes,
Mhm.
something. You know, it doesn't have to be the most high-tech thing. As long as it works, let's remove everybody that could be there. Anybody that can also provide some, um, I don't know, some forensic advice. As for the government and for the presidency, I still insist, if you're not going to resign,
Mm-hmm.
um,
It's going to continue.
go back. No, no, no. Go back to your parliament. Go back to your parliament. See if you can talk to them officially, unofficially. Okay.
Right.
See if maybe they can. I don't know if that can be done unofficially. All right. Try
Right.
to get your parliament together. Maybe they have more, they are not your direct advisors, but maybe they have more that than than maybe he hoped for. And I think kwa sababu, lakini kwa sababu yeye ni kichwa ngumu,
Mm-hmm.
I think he will retain it. Mm. So,
Is it? Sorry,
mm,
I was just.
so he's that hard-headed. I
Mhm.
don't think he'll take all of that mawaida, you know.
Right.
But at least we said it on air, so he can never say that he was never told. At least it was aired out there, right?
Right. And
But being the hard-headed person that he is, I don't think he would, even when he concedes, which is
mhm,
the smartest thing for him to do.
mhm.
I think he better leave it to the rest just to do it, but let him just go. Everybody's tired. So thank you so much. I'm sorry for taking so much of your time.
No, 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 no. That's the whole point. This is everybody's time. As long as you are, giving your views, I don't mind. I just wanted to ask you this
Okay, thanks.
question.
Yeah,
I'll keep it to it's 41 minutes, so I have like roughly 20 minutes. But I wanted
sure.
to ask you this because you mentioned something really interesting about um, the Rwandese president. I forgot his
Mm.
name, and Museveni.
Kagame.
Kagame, yes. And we
Yes,
all know Kagame is being protected by the West. That's why he can get away with all this stuff that he's getting away with, whether it's
sure.
his involvement with in Congo with the M23. Then, of course, we have our friend Museveni, who
Mhm.
has been there for, I don't know, 30 something years now.
Whoa, you're being
Yes,
kind. Something.
yes. And the
Mm.
reason why they're there, they're being protected by the West.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
Mm.
that's why I wanted to, when you mentioned something with I don't know if you mentioned something a little bit with Meg Whitman, the US ambassador to
Sure.
Kenya.
I
Is
did.
it is it true that Ruto may have kind of lost that friendship, that favor from the West? Because the West are actually the reason why he's there. Because I think if he loses the West, I don't know if the Russians will fancy him,
Yeah, you're
given,
absolutely correct
right.
because he told Russia off
Yes.
and he preferred the Americans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because remember when Africa was having that conference in Moscow, and
Yeah.
he was African president, and he was supposed to go, but Megan alipiga simu akamwambia, hey, listen here,
Mm.
do not, and he had to send that useless Alfred Mutua to go there and represent it. But to me, like to that point, I just think that if it's true that the Ford Foundation, all these Americans through their funny foundation, if
Yeah.
it's true that they are really behind this protest and they've dumped him, then
Mm.
definitely Ruto is a goner, because I think those are the only powers that can keep him there at least till 2027, because the people have spoken and he has no
Mm.
defense now. Just like,
And they already denied him. They're like, we don't know what this fella is talking about. Yeah.
right. So his day is a number.
Yep.
Now, who
Mm.
would you want to see as a president?
Who? Wow. Okay. Okay. Can I just, okay. Is there like a choice? Like I can just put two males together, two females together, whatever together. Let's not choose gender, whatever.
Right.
Let's go for the, okay. Oh, I know some people are gonna eat me for some of my choices, okay?
That's fine.
So I'll go for like three choices,
Right.
okay?
Right.
Um, yo, this is a hard one. Tata
Mhm.
with Mother Karoa as
Okay.
vice, or Kalwala.
Boni Kalwale?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh,
The
did I
bullfighter.
ban? Nimechoma. Did I ban something?
It's
Oh
okay.
shit.
Ban it. Here you can ban anything. Freedom of speech.
I might have done. I might have done
Free,
ban the whole plantation. Yeah.
it's okay. Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. Even if we don't agree, but you say it. Piace it.
No. I am just judging him
Mhm.
on the last maybe 6 to 8 months. I don't know his history like door to door.
Let
So
me help you in a briefly. Let me help you. Kalwale, actually, Kalwale used to be like a real bullfighter. He is a bullfighter, or whatever the case is. But there was a time when he actually said it publicly in, if you know Jacob Juma, right?
yeah.
Yeah, he said it publicly that, well, basically saying that Jacob Juma, who was his friend who died,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
told him that the person who would wanted him dead was none other than William Samoei Ruto. He said this
Oh.
publicly while Ruto was the deputy president under Uhuru Kenyatta.
Mm-hmm.
So come 2022, before even that, Kalwale is on the other side, is in Ruto's camp, Kenya Kwanza, wanting
Oh.
rights. Right.
Mm.
So from that day, I was like,
Oh.
okay,
Mm.
Kalwale
Okay,
is
thank you.
Kalwale is like a hero when it's kind of
When it's
suits him.
necessary.
Right. So that's why I was like,
Jeez. Okay, let me look for somebody.
but you
Oh,
can
thank
choma,
you
it's
for
okay.
that.
Blood diplomacy.
Ooh, I almost chomaed. Yawa. I would have been visited. I shoot. I would
Put,
have been
you
visited.
just
I don't want no
weka namba
visitors.
yako hapo, niambie Gen Z wakupigie simu.
Chai, Kai, hey, uh-uh. Kai,
Gen Z,
I
if
would
you're
have
watching,
been
please.
seated. Hey. Let me trend carefully. All
Okay.
right. Okay, let me see, let me see, let me see.
With, I like Okia. I don't know who I would put as vice. Martha Karua.
Okay, unaweza
Uh,
pia mweka. You can also put her.
she's okay, but yeah, I see. The thing is,
Mm,
these majority of these people in the opposition, when they were young, including the Railas and whoever, they were really lions and lionesses back then when they were fighting Moi.
mm,
Then when they had the opportunity to actually be heroes,
mm.
they dropped the ball. Martha Karua, when she was
She got
2007,
oppressed though.
she was what?
She got oppressed by the governor. You remember this
Before,
was the youngest MP ever in Kenya at 21 years old.
right? But I'm talking about when she was the Constitution and Justice Minister under Kibaki,
Right.
and
Mm,
she fought, sorry, uh,
mhm,
really hard for an election that was believed to have been stolen.
mm,
And that's when she disappointed majority of Kenyans. Then there's this case of her taking money from this British tobacco company where she was
mhm,
bribed 50 million pounds, I believe. So
mhm.
that's kind of tainted her. So when she says the right things, she says all this good stuff, and I agree with her for the majority of it. But
Okay,
yeah,
okay, let me keep it fresh. Okay, let me give you a challenge, okay?
yeah.
All right. Sifuna and Faith Odhiambo. Okay, katana hiyo.
Faith Odhiambo, I don't know much about her. She's doing the right things. Sifuna, I like Sifuna. I really, really like Sifuna. But
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. Like
but
Faith knows her law
you know,
and
I've been
Sifuna
saying
knows his
this.
politics.
You know, Sifuna, I've been giving him unsolicited advice, and he doesn't listen to me. I've been saying,
What do
if
you tell him?
I told Sifuna, if you can only leave ODM and just go as an independent. You can have some followers because I mean, matamshi yake, what she's been saying for the past 3 weeks, I was like, Sifuna, what is it? What are you smoking?
The thing is, he needs them. That is how politics is played on the
How?
ground. Listen, okay, let me give you an example.
Yes.
See, right now, mtu kama Babu is very strong, right?
Yeah, but Babu is
Right now, where he is right now. But
Yeah.
you imagine Babu away from Azimio, right?
Right.
The traction goes away because the traction over here is Baba. That is the common denominator. See me?
That's the cult leader.
Thank you. So they
Ayatollah.
can't do without that force. That means, and they know it. So they are stuck over there like fools eventually, which is like kind of a shame, though.
But you know, like for Sifuna, like he has a clean, like he hasn't been involved in a lot of scandals.
But that's what I'm saying. But
And
you know, he's a big boy, but sometimes I don't know if he tucks his balls up in his boxers or something, man.
That's
Sometimes
what
I want
that's
to
what
like slap him around.
that's
You know,
that's
because he has the potential, he has the brains, you
Yeah.
know, he has the know-how, you know,
Yeah.
he has the balance, you know,
That's
not to be too radical and also to be smart enough. But I think the balls were kept right there at Azimio, and I think they're somewhere in a locker room. So yeah, he's waiting for the keys so that the master can come and release them, you know, the rest.
that's why I'm saying, to me, I feel like he has enough traction where even if he leaves ODM, I mean, especially Nairobi, it's a cosmopolitan area, county, whatever the case is. There's enough young, educated people who will make the right choice. I don't believe Sakaja or what's his name, that Mike Mbuvi Sonko won the election. I think they were rigged in. But Sifuna, even if he leaves, like if he runs as independent against Sakaja, he will win. But
any day, tomorrow morning.
You see Babu Nani Abu Kinyanju is telling us Babu is a killer.
That is it. That is it.
I have to be nice to Babu.
Babu aachiliwe hivi na ati aende ajaribu ati to go and like fungua his own chama. Oh, he can forget it. Now people will start reminding him at every junction. Where were DJ Nani? Where were you? You
Babu.
remember DJ?
Yes.
Hey, atajua doing.
Babu, I have to be nice to him because at least he follows me on X, so I have to say nice things. But Babu,
but I don't have to.
I know. Listen. I've said some nasty things to Babu in this channel while he's following me, so I respect him for that. But I see somebody else come in. Jay is a good friend here.
Yes, sir. All right.
How you doing, Jay? Hello. I can't hear you. Jay, can you hear us?
Hello, doing well.
Okay, now I can hear you. How are you doing?
Okay, doing well.
All right. What's on your mind today? Did you go to Mandamano?
I'm not in Nairobi at the moment, so.
Okay.
Really, yeah.
You're there in spirit. So the discussion is, what are the possible outcome scenarios for Ruto? Does he live with an ounce of dignity by dissolving the parliament and say, hey, Kenyans, you don't want me, I'm out, dissolve the parliament, everyone goes back to elections? Or he just says, you know, I was elected, you guys should wait till 2027, anyone in the streets will be gunned down, as he's doing right now. What do you think? What do you see the possible scenario? Because Raila apparently can't save him. The people said, hey, no dialogue.
I mean, it's kind of crazy because there's this like feedback loop where we're getting increased brutality causing increased radicalism with the protesters, in terms of it went from getting rid of the finance bill to, you know, people have other views on what has to be done to the current administration, but it's things are heating up to a boiling point where things may get a bit more violent than they are now.
Yeah, because now we were just discussing this with Cheetah, and we were saying, I mean, this Gachagua's son being abducted, though, it's kind of right. It looks, yeah, it looks like it's kind of, yeah, they're playing around. But the deaths today were more than any other protest since this Gen Z started. So, like you say, this will not help in his trying to reach out to these Gen Zs. Now, with that said, it seems like we are in uncharted waters. There's no one who can intervene or help these Gen Zs. I was just asking Cheetah this, and I was saying, you know, they have their own desiderata, the things that needs to be done. But at the same time, they want Ruto out. How do we go about it? Which is which? Do we keep Ruto or do we wait for him to have a new cabinet that we can trust or whatever, PSS or whatever? What is it, Gen Z?
I think it's one of those things where you kind of have to be reactive because it'll most likely be bringing in the same old names you know from the last 20 years in cabinet. So it probably won't make much of a difference. But I think going step by step.
So removing Ruto will be the first step, or implementing this, or just waiting for him to do stuff, because he's trying to reach out. I mean, his supporters are saying, okay, you guys wanted him to talk, he came to X, you cast him out, he left. Then you wanted some finance bill changed, he stopped the finance bill, or whatever the case is. What else? Budget, even though the appropriation bill is another supplementary bill, and the appropriation bill had already passed, but he's arguing that, okay, my wife is no longer getting money. Oh, you want, what else do you want? Like, I'm trying to reach out to you. I'm trying to bring Raila to talk to you kids. You're losing your minds. What's wrong with these kids?
I mean, he hasn't really done anything if you think about it.
Why do you say that?
Because of the whole office of his wife thing and everything, that's just things that were illegal.
I'm playing the devil's advocate here. But go ahead, sorry.
No, it's things that he started that were already illegal to begin with. The finance bill is apparently back into law again because of the whole parliament not assenting it or something. But he's not really taking a step back. He's trying to pull distractions, but I don't think he's taking a step back.
Do you, Cheetah was telling me that there seems to be, it appears as if he has lost the support of the West, who I think are the backbone to his administration. I mean, I gave the example of Museveni and Kagame. They're there because of the West, basically. Is it true that do you suspect that maybe they've abandoned him, or?
I don't think they really care about him. They just see him as African leader number 23. It's just a list of people. But I think he thought he had friends, but really was just being used.
So Cheetah.
Yes.
Are we going to have a messy, probably chaos as we are being led to believe? Because now there's some people I can hear, the churches, the Muslim leaders and all that stuff. They say, you know what? We might have chaos. This can go left. You know?
It can go left, way left.
Because just a little bit. Because, you know, Ruto being him, he might, like Jay is saying, now he's unleashing his deadly forces. And this will exacerbate the situation. People are getting incensed, and maybe it might turn violent. I don't know. I mean, I'm not hoping, I'm not praying for that, but that's a real possibility.
Look at the defense forces, among other tactics, they're taught how to intimidate psychologically, how to have a crowd under control, whether peaceful or rowdy. Let's get that fact straight. Okay. If you're rowdy, we get it. But if you're just peaceful, it comes across to you very differently. Now, this is a very conscious doing. This is a very conscious, like systematic way, methodically way of him working, right? It's like Mimi sifanyi kitu. I'm not doing nothing. It's like that rat that like just bites your toes and then like blows on you. It's like, I didn't do shit. It's just like a mosquito that applies anesthesia on you first and then sucks the blood out of you and then injects malaria into you. Same thing. So let's not be fooled. What I can see happening is like what my brother said over there is like the pot is at the brim and it's going to boil over. It's going to boil over sooner than later if this man does not concede. Ajitoe tu kwa heshima, respectively,
My
right? Yeah.
my final question. I'm sorry, Jay, you came in late because it's been an hour, but I will ask this. I was thinking about this angle. What if he turns into start political assassinations? These people that he suspects are behind this Gen Z. He starts eliminating them.
Then that is gonna be wildfire. Sorry, please, Jace. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Woo, sorry for that emotion. It just came out of my soul. Who? Please, I'm sorry, Jay. Go ahead. Sorry.
Jay, what do you see? Do you see if it's a possibility?
It's entirely possible. Like you mentioned earlier, the whole Jacob Juma thing and everything, and that was just over a simple business dispute. So it's entirely possible.
Cheetah?
It is totally going to boil over. And I think a piece of him, I think is still in denial that him, Big Zakayo, Big Oga,
Oga.
Alaji, Alaji now, chief man, you see now. Hey, how now he cannot believe that these village boys and girl, hey, they'll come challenge him. Big king, big chief now. Oga, he want to give a slap to every one of us, but you see, unfortunately, he cannot. So,
Huh?
wickedness, don't go support him. Yes, now. So the only thing that he can do, because he doesn't have the muscle, to me, I consider him a bully. And I wish he could just step out of his car one of these days. Okay, we're not gonna give him a crowd. We're not gonna give him somebody bigger, just your own weight class. You know, when you go to boxing, if you're 50, you'll be given the same kind of weight. We give him one of the Gen Zs. Okay, let's just go battle. 2 minutes. Alaji, if you get knocked out there, we take over. Is it okay? Ah,
Yeah. Well,
yeah, but
we'll.
I think it's going to boil over, and unfortunately, but what I would like to say
Mhm,
is, even if you want to close up the show, bro,
mhm,
we need a center, or maybe please open another channel that
mhm,
is strictly for receiving all this, especially the male child. The, the people that were collecting those paper bags, dropping on ropes, all of
mhm,
those that were, they must not be okay. All of those that saw people get shot in front of them, all of those that are, I think somewhere the wellness of the mind should be looked into. I don't know what you can look into. Maybe you can open, I don't know, a channel, maybe an extra one where you strictly can receive, especially the boy child, because they do not know how to talk mostly, and you know that. And
right.
I really feel for that, because these are my fathers, my grams, my children, everything. This is my society. I do care for it, but I think you're in a better position. And I'll do my best to support you, and maybe in the future open something of my own. But I think all victims of all kinds in this whole circumstance we should at least have something to accommodate, even if it's a national conversation. You see, like how they opened like the Citizens Assembly,
Yes.
something like
Yes.
that, where everybody can come and pour out, this is what happened to me, no judgment, just give them their time. And you might be helping more people, because some people after that especially maybe the ones that were abducted and now they are full of fear. I don't want them to be so afraid that they'll never come outside, go take their lives and be like, all of that. So if you can do that, I know you got the influence, I'll appreciate it. And that will be my request. Again, thank you so much and have a good night.
That's a good suggestion. The problem is that most of these guys are really, they internet access is kind of limited. So for them to log in a platform like this, I'm not currently in Kenya, so that might be a difficult thing. I have people who in Kenya who try to log in, but they're like on enough bundles or whatever the case is. Economy, it's hard. So I would love to. Obviously, that's why the more the channel grows, I can always reach out and have sessions like that. We are still kind of growing. Hopefully, somebody, if anybody, anyone, I don't have any not connection, but let me say contacts with somebody on the ground who knows what happened there or was involved in that. So that's the challenge. Maybe if somebody watching, anyone, wants to reach out, you can reach out to me. I'm on X. You can DM me, same name. And also, as we share this channel of whatever and people know about it, we can have a session that you say that. Because, and it's so funny that you say that, because I was thinking about this when they were having that concert for those Rex and the guys that died. And I was thinking about what about we go back to, the baby Pendo, baby Mora. These are kids who were playing and were shot to death and no one really had something for them, So yes, I would love to do something like that, but I'm not that connected as far as with the people on the ground, but you can help me so we can provide a platform. Because this platform, I started this platform because I used to go to other platforms and they would not let me speak. So I got pissed off and I was like, you know what? I'm starting my own shit. That's why I'm starting. And I want to let anyone talk and say whatever they want, whether we agree or disagree. It's okay. So help me so we can do this. Everyone who's watching on the comment section, Jay, Cheetah, anybody. So any suggestions are greatly welcome. Otherwise, if you have anything else to say, I'm about to sign out. Please let me know if you have anything else you want to add in, Jay or Cheetah. Tomorrow I'll be on to same time, same place. Anything else?
All right. For now, just have a wonderful evening. Thank you for the opportunity. Keep grinding, bro, and have a blessed night.
Thank you. I love your thinking. You are entertained. Of course, I usually miss Jay, but Jay, he comes in once in a while. Probably he's busy, so I understand that. But I really appreciate you guys. Let's grow this channel. Like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the wonderful things, and share it with your friends and coworkers who care about Kenya. Thank you again, and I'll see you guys tomorrow as usual. Kama kawaida. All right. Peace and blessings. And I'll see you guys later.